content. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. Something like that. Thank you, Vikala. That's why he's the GOAT, providing us with art. Love to see it. Anyways, hello. Appreciate you for stopping by, Matona. Yeah, I did a poll. Bro's forgetting his grammar, his Japanese grammar. So over. Yo, it's Squeak. It's Squeak. What's up, Fuse? Appreciate you stopping by. Broken ass Vikala, so true.
Married 34 woot face.
Thank you for the resub, I appreciate it. It's a big 34 months. It's like 2 more until 3 years. Dang, crazy. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, I'm probably gonna start the guide in like just a second. But I did I did try to record this yesterday night, and I messed up so many times that it just I kind of just stopped. I think I went like an hour 45, and I'm like, damn, I'm too tired to finish this shit. It was like 1 in the morning. So I thought it would be better if I just do it on stream. And then I could just turn the VOD of this into a video and whatnot and cut out. It's also better if anybody else has like real-time questions, anything like that, that I can't answer in real time. So, yeah, anyways, without further ado, I guess let's do this. The exam, sure, man. I'm gonna have you remember the frame data on every one of her moves. You get a single one wrong, you fail. No study guide, just make sure to pay attention to the lecture. I'm not providing a study guide, bro, make it yourself. But yeah, anyways, let's get started. Zoe guide? I gotta learn that character first, man. So, yeah. PhD in winning Sky Games Cup. Alright, man. Whatever you say. But yeah, stop stalling. Anyways, let's get started. Normals on this character, as most of you guys know, she has, all her light normals are 6 frames, which isn't great. Like, well, I guess, like, 2L and Farfile being, 6 frames is, like, it's normal. Par for the course, but, you know, close L being 6 frames, not cool, because, like, everybody else has 5 frames. Well, most characters have 5 frames. I know, like Narm has 6 frame on, what is it, Kagura 5L, and then there are other characters with, like, Solar. I think Versusia has, like, 7 frame, but that move is massive, so that makes up for it. But yeah, 6 frames on all her light normals. Isn't great. You have to worry about, like, clash situations where, you know, you may clash with, like, 2L, and then you try to 5L, and then you'll lose, because, yeah, so when it comes to classes, depending on distance, if you're point blank, definitely just grab. That's, for the best. M normals, we thought this normal was really good at first, or Far 5M, until we realized it's freaking, is -8 on block. So, yeah, if you don't cancel this move, depending on spacing, you will die. So, like, something like this. Oh wow, I'm close enough. Okay, but yeah, yeah, you want to cancel this move into a special most of the times. Obviously, there are gonna be times where most people will try to roll Vikala, predicting like special cancels, because roll is like the go-to option. So like, it isn't a bad move to not cancel, knowing, like, you know, what I just mentioned, but it's definitely not safe to just keep doing this, because if they do press a button afterwards, then you might just die. So that's to keep in mind. Close M is slower than usual. It's 7 frames, or like slower compared to most of the cast with like 6-frame close M's. But it's multi-hitting, so that's cool. At least for like, well, it allows for easier confirms. It is multi-hitting, but nothing really too special besides that. After that, there's 2M, which is it has its it has its pros and its cons. Big con, as you can see, -10 on block, not cancelable, or not, that is not cancelable, but when you don't cancel it, you will kind of explode if you don't. So you kind of have to cancel it, but it puts you in a situation most of the times where canceling it into anything is not great. Just due to the fact that your options are limited. I guess we'll, like, in terms of like trying to be safe afterwards, because do this, it's -8. You do this, roll and you die. Do this, roll and you die. And then yeah, it's kind of the same goes for like everything off of that. So that's kind of those are its cons. Pros is that it's good for good corner carry. So you do this, you can kind of catch from right there. So that is probably the biggest thing it has going for it. So in situations where you do want corner carry, this is a good move to kind of implement your combos and whatnot. So yeah, that's M normals. H normals. Close H. It's slow, 11 frames. A lot of characters have faster, unless you're talking about like very few. But yeah, she is on the slower side. It isn't really outstanding. It's not big, really. It being 11 frames means you cannot combo off of it, off of Raging Strike, Raging Chain. So that sucks. On counter hit on standing, it doesn't actually combo into itself. So that's another thing you have to worry about because it's so slow. On crouching it will, but of course you're probably not going to have a lot of situations where that does work. Honestly, that's about it for that move. Far 5H, also 11 frames. I guess depending on who you're like, comparing it to, it's pretty big. It's pretty big. Not a lot of characters have a 4 or 5H this range, unless you're talking about like Siegfried and stuff like that. But isn't too great. It has range. It isn't that fast in comparison to other characters. Like Gran has a 9 frame if I remember correctly. -10 on block. So this is definitely the range where you can like cancel into specials, but yeah, you won't really get punished for throwing this out. Decent move to stuff out stuff. So it's like you'll be using this in a decent amount to like kind of like zone people out. A combination of this and like this and stuff like that, especially in the corner, because this is probably her best position is when she's in this far 5H, far M range. So yeah, also just stuff out like approaching opponents. Obviously, there's certain situations where you like to do far M instead of far H, just due to the speed, it being 4 frames faster, and also having a decent range. But of course, that depends on the situation, and I guess you'll figure that out as you play more. Anyways, another H normal, 2H. This is also 11 frames, so all her H normals are 11 frames. You can see this move, despite being a 2H, has like no vertical reach. So like I don't have the hitbox like on me, but it pretty sure it goes as high as her pointer finger. So it's not very big vertically, which is sad. But it does have some horizontal range, as you can see. It does go out a decent bit in front of her. But yeah, this is your go-to anti-air. It's sad, but you know, we gotta, you know, play with what we're handed. So yeah, nothing too crazy. Like I said, your go-to anti-air. But yeah, do take caution when you're using this in, you know, when you're trying to anti your opponents. Like super jumps, you are, unless you have the perfect timing, you're not catching super jumps. And definitely certain like characters in that are mobile in the air, it's not your, you know, it's not a move that will beat everything. So yeah, watch out for that. Before I go into 5U, because when I was recording this yesterday night, I completely forgot about aerials. I'm gonna get aerials out of the way first. So JL, pretty standard. She blows the horn, and it isn't big. Doesn't have any like real like vertical reach, whatnot. Yeah, it's pretty standard for a 5H. It's funny, yeah, it's pretty funny looking. It's hilarious. And actually is her fastest move. So it is 5 frames. So yeah, fun fact. But you won't really be using this move at all unless you're trying to like catch like a character, maybe like Lancelot or Matera or like anybody that's like in the air on like reaction. You just like you do a rising JL or something like that. So yeah, that's about it. JM is your go-to like cross up. It's 7 frames, so it's relatively fast. So like in situations where you might like you might be in the corner and whatnot, and you do a super jump and then JM, something like that. So yeah, this move hits behind it. Doesn't have the biggest range, like behind it. So, you know, obviously it's not gonna catch everything. It's not like it's not like vanilla like JU. So yeah, honestly that's about it. And then there is JH, which is pretty big. I think we need to check it right here. Comes out fastest is 10 frames, so it's kind of on the slower side, but it has some decent like horizontal reach. There's some pushback. This is probably your best air to air, considering you are at the range where you cannot. You're at the range where you shouldn't be throwing out like JL or JM and stuff like that. So not a lot of characters have like move as big as this, but the characters that do have decently like far-reaching JHs are they're definitely better. So when you encounter characters like that, you kind of have to like preemptively do it, or you will get stuffed out and you will die. So do keep that in mind. As big as it looks, it's not as good as it looks. So yeah. All right. Anyways, next is her signature move, her 5U, which is the thought bubble and the random items. You can kind of compare this to like Faust from Guilty Gear, and he just throws out some random stuff. So there are 2 variations to this move, just regular 5 and then 4, which they launch at different angles. So if you throw 4 right there, you see it like kind of throws up. If you do regular 5, she just throws it in front of her. So yeah. You can also do this move in the air. Same thing applies. So if you do just 5, it throws it forward. You throw 4, it throws it up a little bit. You cannot act out of this move in the air, so once you do this, you're stuck until you hit the ground. So, you know, depending on your RNG, you could die, or you could, you know, not die as bad. There's not a lot of situations where you will get like a confirm off of this, unless you get like a, you get like a cannonball or something like that, or a spike ball, and you're like, didn't get a lot like off the ground, like something like that. And then you get a confirm off of it. But yeah, it's not the greatest, but it is useful as an air stall if you are kind of like trying to bait your opponent into doing something. And you know, you could just get lucky and yeah, it could work out in your favor. Anyways, I guess we'll talk about the items in particular, that 5U you can get out of 5U. First there's Ball. Ball is like, can't even say standard projectile, but it's pretty basic. It very low hit stun, very low block stun. Yeah, it's a ball. It is the basic. It has the highest chance of appearing, so you'll be getting this a lot. Yeah, it isn't too great. It also isn't too bad either. So it's definitely there. Next is the bomb. Bomb, as you expect, it explodes after a certain amount of time. It does not have a hitbox off of 5U, so it will just go straight to the ground and explode after like a second or two. So yeah, it's pretty good, because the explosion and like the threat of the explosion will force you, or it forces your opponent to kind of like pick an option, either to, you know, wait for it to blow up, or maybe a high committal like jump or anything like that to get around it. So that is pretty much bomb. Self-explanatory. Cannonball acts like the ball in the sense where it has a hitbox coming out, but there's a lot more block stun and hit stun, so it can be used like in confirms and stuff like that. I think just excuse me. I think you have to be like in the corner or something like that for it to be like effective. Yeah, like that. So you can extend off of that. So it is one of the better items for sure. It can just be like lingering in the air, and then it's like, you know, if you get hit by it, full combo. So pretty good move. One of the better items for sure. But yeah, that's about that. Next is Spike Ball. Spike Ball is also has a hitbox on coming out. Well, it's kind of like lingering in the air, but instead of being a one hit, it is 3 hits, so it makes it like easier to confirm in certain situations. Also, this has the property where when it hits the ground, it will roll. It goes about full screen. Well, considering you're not like running across the screen, it will go away after a certain amount of time. I haven't checked exactly how long, but yeah, this is pretty good in the sense that this can also force your opponent to pick an option, either to kind of like hold it and then just like, you know, sit down back, like try to hit you before it gets to them, or kind of like jump over it in order to, you know, trying to avoid it and also hit you out. So this is definitely one of her better items. Well, combo tool as well. So yeah, that's about that. Next is Smoke Bomb. Smoke Bomb is probably the worst normal item that you can get. It doesn't have a hitbox on throw coming out, and as the name suggests, it applies smoke. Not for very long, but it's equally as bad for you and your opponent. In certain situations, if there's like enough smoke on screen, characters like Lucilius can freaking teleport and you won't see it, and so you won't be able to react to it. So it's just like, well, that kind of sucks. And it's not on the screen long enough to like set up anything. So it's like no hitbox on throwing it out either. So it's like, yeah, this is not a great move, but it's better than nothing. And nothing, not this one actually. This is actually her best move in a lot of people's opinion. The star. You throw it out and it just bounces around on screen, so it just takes up space. It's an active hitbox, so it will, it will kind of just it will like force your opponent to kind of like respect it, and it does take 2 hits before it goes away on the opponent. It doesn't have like that high block stun, but like off of 1 hit at the very least, but it being able to ricochet off to your opponent and kind of just keep moving around and threatening space after even touching your opponent once is good, especially with cannons. Them being able to shoot them and whatnot, give them more time on screen. It's just an active hitbox flying around the screen that does not affect you, so it's good. It's really good. Anyways, next is the healing items. These two kind of suck because there's not a lot of situations where you're going to be throwing this out and you'll be healing yourself. Most of the time you'll be healing your opponent. This heals about like 5%. So it's like not too much, but there are situations where it will matter. Like you get cannon, whatnot, and you're trying to chip them out, and you heal your opponent, and now they're not at chip point, and now you're cooked. So yeah, this kind of sucks. If it had more uses to like where you can like heal yourself, it wouldn't be as bad, I don't think. But it also doesn't have a hitbox. It just straight up heals your opponent, so that's not cool. The other one is Cheese. This one recovers 10% meter. It has the same properties as Heart, but yeah, you're not gonna see a lot of times where you're gonna be able to use this move and heal yourself unless under very specific circumstances. It's just not gonna happen. So Hearts and Cheese to the homies. Yeah, not in this game though. Not in this game. Not in this game. But yeah, I believe that that covers all this stuff. Next, I forgot to do this yesterday when I was recording until afterwards. 2U is sweep. Everybody has a sweep. It's 8 frames, so it's on the faster side for most sweeps. I think Grand's is like 7, so it's not like super fast, but it's up there. It's up there, and for the size it has, it's pretty solid. You'll be using this if you're in the corner and your opponent's shimming and whatnot, you can kind of just throw this move out, and you might be able to catch them. If you don't, then you can always cancel into a move, but it is one of your go-to kind of poke outs when you are on defense, and your opponent may be kind of trying to throw bait you and whatnot. You just that's not it. Throw this move out and kind of set up like this. So yeah, another thing I forgot to do yesterday was dash normals. So 6XL, standard 6XL, it doesn't go that far in terms, well, it's, they did nerf distance and stuff like that, but it's not outstanding. You won't get too much off of it. But it is 6XL. You will be using this move a lot just because it is 6XL and it is plus on block. So yeah. Next is 6XM, which is her forward advancing overhead. It's -6 on block, so it's not safe unlike some 6XMs or dash attack overheads. So don't use this all the time. It is reactable 26 frames, so some people can't react to it. But yeah, you will get punished by 90% of the cast for getting blocked, but it is very useful in certain situations. Like if you set up trap or whatnot, you can do this. Well, that made it even less plus. pushes them back, and then they kind of get locked into that. So there are certain setups, like I said, that you can do off of it, and it leads into full combos. So you'll be using this move a decent amount because she kind of needs it to open people up because she doesn't have many other options to do so. So yeah. Next is 66H. -4 on block, but honestly, it does not really have any use. Like I never use this move. I don't like. Maybe like on like Oki and whatnot, do this. If your opponent mashes a lot on wake up, you can get a like a 66H. Kind of catch them doing whatever. It will push them back far enough off of like most setups into the trap. So yeah, but yeah, besides that, it doesn't lead like into anything on like mid screen. It doesn't lead into anything in the corner either. You can't even combo off of it unless it's counter hit, but you won't like there's like no chance. You're not going to be like doing this a lot in the corner. So yeah, mid screen doesn't do anything counter hit. It just launches them further away. But yeah, it does wall bounce counter hit, which I actually didn't know because I never used this move. But yeah, there are some like I've seen some people try to implement it like in combos, but it's not the easiest to do. So yeah, you won't be using this move a lot, but it is safe on block. So I don't think. Okay, never mind. So you can't do it point blank in the corner because you'll get grabbed, but it is relatively safe on block, being -4. But yeah. Anyways, that should cover all her normals and whatnot. If I miss anything, then please remind me. But next, talking about specials. Cannon, 236 or just neutral skill. Cannon is kind of implements her RNG into a cannon, and it shoots the item. One of the 8 items that she has in her rotation, and yeah, this thing has 3 uses. So if you count it, use the initial use right here, this, and then it will disappear. Both the L and M variants have a kind of thing where if you hold it, it will place it in the air. So this is normal, and this is held. So it places it in the air. It changes, you know, trajectory of the thing, the item. Also, items, certain items have different like properties in when shot out of the cannon. Like for example, the bomb. You throw it out, there's no hitbox. Like there's no active hitbox when it's falling, but if you shoot out of the cannon, it will explode on impact when it hits an opponent. So the same applies for the smoke bomb, so keep that in mind. Launching the items out of the cannons, you either within the time frame, so you don't have a lot of time. So after the bubble disappears that shows the item, you cannot shoot an item anymore. So if I wait and then do that, I press it too late and nothing comes out. So you're gonna have to be able to shoot this out within that time frame, which isn't as easy if you are trying to react to whatever you get in the cannon. But if you're kind of just like, you know, pressing it immediately, it's not that big of a deal. There are certain situations where it will matter. It doesn't matter as much, like most of the time. Of course, healing your opponent is bad, but sometimes it won't make too big of a difference, but definitely try to not shoot out healing items to your opponents. Okay, M is literally the exact same thing, but it fires at an angle instead. Has the held version and normal version. It functions the exact same way, so not really much to say about that. And then there's EX, or H, which places both the one on the floor and one in the air at the exact same time. So yeah, you don't have to worry about setting up these separately, but at the cost of your cooldown, if you hold it, it changes direction because holding it doesn't place one in the air since there's already both. But yeah, it functions the exact same way besides that. Also, if you can't see it and didn't know, if you launch an item from a cannon to another cannon, it will fire out. It will fire out the direction of the last cannon it was shot out of. So yeah. After that is just 236U. This is the reset to neutral tool, pretty much. So she shoots this, and she gets shot full screen as she also pushes her opponent full screen. So yeah, it's good. Like, none of her old skills I would say are bad. Like, they do have their own uses, so I can't tell you which one is like really like better than the other. But yeah, you'll be using this. You'll be using this a decent amount, especially when you're in the corner. I'll go over this a little bit more later, but yeah, she doesn't have the greatest defensive options. Maybe you can try something like this, but like I said, I will go over it later. But there are certain things you have to take into account when trying to use that. But yeah, she explodes and pushes the opponent back. On hit though, despite it being a multi-hit on block, on hit it's a single hit. But it's weird in the sense where it will beat armored moves like Voss's like stance, unless he does I don't know the specific, but the one that applies more armor. I don't get it because, like I said, looks like a single hit on block, or not on block, on hit, but it's a multi-hit on block, yet beats armor in that sense. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but it's what it is. So yeah, that's about it. It also loses to roll, so if your opponent is kind of like roll heavy on like block and stuff like that, they try rolling, they will get counter hit. So yeah, something to keep in mind. But yeah, it will lose to spot dodge, and in that case you are -14. So like I was saying, I was going to mention earlier, you can't, this doesn't lock like most moves except for the H moves. Don't, like, there's not enough hit stun for it to confirm, like, to be a true link into 236U. So if they spot dodge this, you're -14 and will probably die. So be careful with how you kind of throw this out, because it is not free. But yeah, that's probably the situation where you're going to be using it the most. But yeah, anyways, 214. This is her go-to like zoning tool. 214L goes like half screen, and it's low to the ground in comparison to the other ones. This one you cannot roll through, unlike the other two, which are rollable. So again, if you want to catch roll heavy opponents off of, like, you know, when they're trying to like preemptively roll on your special cancels, this will catch, and yeah, it's a counter hit, and in the corner it actually leads into a full confirm. So just show that off real quick. So like right here, whatnot. So yeah, of course you can get a lot more off of that, but you can get a pretty decent reward off of it if you catch your opponent rolling. So yeah, it can be spot dodge though, so it is not immune to roll spot dodge and whatnot. But yeah, 214M is the full screen version is also high to the ground. I can't even say high to the ground. It's kind of like head length for most characters. Like, but this one, like I mentioned, can be rolled. But it's also +2 on block, which doesn't matter pretty much, especially when you're right here. +2 doesn't really make a difference, but yeah, in the corner, you're not really going to get this where it like matters. No one's really going to be standing right here because they're going to be down backing. Unless they're not, then that's their problem. But yeah, this is like your main like zoning tool, I'd say. Because I'll go over like particular like why it is later, but yeah, this is probably your main zoning tool. keep that in mind for now. Carried? What the hell? What's up, Search? Thank you for follow. I appreciate it. But yeah, on whiff, this is like -50. So like you can crouch under it because it is high. So in like situation where you're like right here, this is not where you want to whiff it because you will die. So be wary of that. Don't just throw it out whenever, because you know obviously there's different situations where like if your opponent's right here, it's better to throw out this than to throw out this because it will catch them on the ground, and you won't get punished for whiffing this in their face. So yeah, something to keep in mind. Something to keep in mind for sure. Next is 214H. It's also full screen, and it travels, or not travels, it reaches your opponent full screen 2 frames faster. So yeah, honestly, as a zoning tool, you don't want to use this at all, because this is probably, like I said, your most important zoning tool, 214, the cooldown itself. So you're not really going to be using this at full screen unless you're trying to catch your opponent. Like, you need the extra 2 frames to get your opponent pressing something to full screen to finish the round or whatnot. But yeah, that's honestly about it. It does wall bounce on hit. So wall bounce on hit on the corner, to be specific, because if it wall bounce on hit anywhere, that'd be pretty cool. But unfortunately, we do not have that. So this is a big combo tool. So you're gonna want to have this cooldown, or when you can get in the corner and you know, do combos and whatnot. Also, one thing I didn't mention before is that 214M, the high counter hits. A counter hit forces wall bounce on in the corner, so you can, like, off a counter hit, these are rewarding in the corner. So make sure to look out for these. It's a lot easier to confirm than the L1, but yeah, in situations where you can like counter hit from here, you can't really get a confirm, but you know, it's more time, I guess. More time that you have to kind of, like, you know, reposition yourself and whatnot. But yeah, H doesn't have any special properties on counter hit. It just, you know, it still wall bounces, so it's nothing crazy. But yeah, 214U is, like I said, I can't really like gauge the old skills on like how good they are, because they all have like different like specific uses. But yeah, this is your full screen projectile, or not even projectile, is their strikes that they go through projectiles, except for like ult projectiles and whatnot. So this is your kind of like go-to. I'm not sure if I still have this. Oh no, this is, I set it like that. So you have like that, it will beat out projectiles. Very cool. And then it forces hard knockdown, and it's also, the animation is pretty long, as you saw, like 181 frames. So yeah, it gives you a lot of time to kind of like reset, figure out what you want to do, if you want to approach your opponent, set up shop or whatnot. You can do that, but you know, obviously, like you saw, if you're too close, you know, you have to be preemptive with this. You know, your reactions are cracked, maybe you can get away with it, but yeah, it is one of those moves. Also, didn't mention before, but 236 can also be used in the same way, but yeah, it does 1,000 less damage, 1,100 to be specific, less damage, and is also slower. So you'll most likely be using not 236. You'll most likely be using 214 instead of 236 in situations like these. So yeah, doesn't have any special properties on counter hit, but yeah, this is 214 is one of your main like refund combo enders, for reasons I'll get to later. But yeah, after that, This will move into 623. So it's 623. I personally think is probably the most important, like overall, to like her like pressure and stuff like that. Especially 623L. So this move, 623L, is your safest option off of Blockstrings from far normals, except for like far L, which you probably shouldn't be canceling anything off of because you'll probably die. But yeah, off of far normals, you're at a space to where this is at worst even, and at best like plus 16, 18, as you can see right there. But yeah, a lot of people do preemptively roll Vikala's like off if you can special cancel and whatnot. Even if you're not going to special cancel, a lot of people will see a normal from Vikala, a far normal, and roll. This move at certain distances will beat roll, so and off of that you can get a conversion. How big of a conversion you get depends on you know, how close you are to the corner and whatnot. So something like that. Even mid screen, you kind of get something like that. Nothing too crazy, but yeah. So even if you're close, this is -4 off of far M and -2 off of far H. So off of far H, you are unpunishable. So and off of far M, you're kind of like grab punishable, but people don't lab this matchup enough to know that. So they will mash in hopes that they will, you know, get a full like punish off of it, and won't throw. So you kind of just, you know, hold down back in that situation, and then you are fine. So imagine this is the safest option in your block strings. You kind of just to either end your block strings, they roll it, or to kind of keep your pressure going. Because if they spot dodge it too, they will get caught out in most situations. So something like that. So it's good against both options, and just in general, since like due to how safe it is on like on cancel from far normals, this is a great way to kind of condition your opponent or find out their habits when it comes to how they try to react to your special cancels, or not even react, how they try to just, you know, how they guess on your special cancels. Do they roll a lot? If so, you can kind of, you know, account for it next time and not cancel into anything and just kind of smack them for it, because roll has a decently long end leg. So yeah, this is a move you're going to be using a lot in the corner, a lot in like pressure strings from mid screen and whatnot, but it is the most useful in the corner. You can, like, if I'm too far and this doesn't hit, you can like jump out, but I'm pretty sure unless you have an air stall, this gets like immediately 2H. So that is something you have to watch out for if you're on the side of the opponent. But yeah, this is probably your go-to. I'll explain more when I get, you know, when I talk more about like game plan and whatnot. But yeah, 623M. Same little rat wheel, but instead it goes up and then comes down. This move is pretty situational pressure reset. This is like if your opponent is just like sitting down back and you want to like get in and they're not like really racking anything, kind of just do this, run up in their face and whatnot. But it's very risky. So most of the times you can be using this as Oki. So off of throws, this places like right on top of your opponent's head, and there's a pretty decent medium in comparison to something like Trap that isn't really as consistent. And as you see, you're -3, so you're not really getting anything off of this. Or you're just minus in general. -1, -3, I could be late, but you're not plus in this situation. So you throw this out. Of course, your opponent can act out of it, Like Zoe players like to 66H out of this because it's not like immediately, it doesn't hit you immediately when you wake up. So you know, forward advancing armor move, if you're trying to take back your turn or trying to take your turn, my bad, you will get hit by this. So I guess against certain characters, do watch that. Watch out for that. Also, Gris, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. You're having a good day so far. Yeah. So that is something you have to watch out for when using this move. And okay. But yeah, especially off of like in the corner. This move is set up perfectly after a 2-1-4. 2-1-4H. So it lands directly on top of your opponent's face. And yeah, 2-1-4 you puts you in the perfect position to where it will do that. Which reminds me that this does not get stopped by the corner, and if you're too close, it will just completely avoid disappear into the abyss. So the same goes for 623 L. It just doesn't. It just disappears. I'm pretty sure the same for 63H as well. So yeah, you have to worry, or you have to pay attention to your positioning when using this move, especially in the corner. Because if you mess up, you'll get punished. So that definitely watch out for that. Yeah. That's pretty much that move. 63H, however, is your go-to combo tool. Unlike L and H, it lasts, like when it reaches its lowest point, it lingers for a little bit. So you're not really going to use this as like a move to kind of like create like space and kind of like hold down like kind of hold down like an area, because of how like useful this is as a combo tool and how important this cooldown is for your pressure and Oki and all this stuff. So you won't really be seeing this a lot, where you just kind of like do this and kind of set up, because it's not even out for long enough to the point where you can kind of set up anything with how slow or like cannons are, how slow getting out trap is and whatnot. So perhaps you're getting tossed to Narnia, yeah, pretty much. But yeah, this is pretty plus on block, depending on spacing, of course. But this move, unlike 623L, is like minus. Well, we're about to find out. It's pretty minus on roll. Yeah, minus 14 on roll. For H, on M, you're minus 16. L is minus 18, I'm pretty sure. So it's, yeah. You do not want to be throwing this out in your pressure strings, because you will die if they roll it. So, yeah, pretty much strictly use this as a combo tool, because if they roll this, and people love rolling Vikala, like trying to special cancel her normals, you will die, and that is the reason why they roll. So yeah, it is plus 8 on hit though, so on standing at the very least. On crouching, it's plus 9. So you can, off of this, you can confirm into things like 2M. You can confirm into 2U, which is also 8 frames, and set up into, like, you know, like a sandwich in between you and your opponent in the trap. So it leads to, you know, some setups and whatnot. You can also convert off of far M, which you're probably not going to do a lot, just due to how much better positioning 2M puts you, and how much more corner carry it gives, or it gives you. So yeah, that's really about it for that. Okay, next is 623 U, her DP. This DP sucks. unlike most DP, is it's a projectile. So yeah. Also, if you look at how it launches, it launches horizontally before it travels vertically a certain distance. So see that little gap in between her and the rocket? There's nothing stopping you from being right in between that and hitting her. So yeah, there are certain situations where if your opponent jumps at the right time or jumps at a specific angle, you can just lose to that. So this DP, yeah, it's not great. Also, as you can see, there's no, like, it does not exist behind her. So if you're, gonna, or if you want to try to catch or think you have a chance of catching someone kind of like crossing up your jump, or crossing up on jump, you're not, you will die. So yeah. And another thing about this being a projectile is that it loses to all moves that beat projectiles, despite it being a DP. Most infamous example is Lodiva Headbutt. So I'm not sure if L version like beats it, but yeah, Lodiva players will just headbutt on Oki or Meaty, and she can't DP it, unlike everybody else in the cast. So yeah, that's cool. It's not cool at all, but yeah. Also, you cannot use this as a reaction to 6 wall dive because that's also projectile involved. So there's a lot of situations where you cannot use this move. I recommend use it as little as possible because 1, you need your meter, and 2, this DP sucks. So there's a lot of times where you will just die for throwing it out and whatnot. So yeah. That's pretty much, that's DP. Don't use it. don't try to use it as little as possible unless you have to. So yeah. Okay, last special, the trap. So trap goes, L trap at least goes about like a third, almost like half of the screen. Yeah, like 1/3 of the screen, and when someone is on top of it, it activates and jumps up. It does attract people in the air, so if you're jumping over it, you can get hit. It can force unblockable situations, air unblockable situations sometimes, but it's not very common due to how little blocks on this thing has. So it's, yeah, you won't be getting it a lot, but you can convert off of hit from these, which is seen a bit when you have stuff like this, and you can convert off of that, if I could confirm, but yeah, get the idea. Can confirm off of that. Yeah, what I just showed off was M. It's the same thing as L, but just goes 2/3 of the screen instead of 1/3. So yeah, function the same way. And then there's H. H tracks your opponent until you get until it gets into a close enough range, and then it will just automatically attack. Also leads into like confirms on hit. So yeah, it's also pretty decent, like off of certain like instances where you can, okay, maybe not here, but like of a situation, maybe like this, you can kind of continue pressure like that, and they can't really do much about that except like hold it or immediate option to catch you like trying to continue pressure and whatnot. But yeah, it does have a little thing where it will activate, well, like I mentioned, it does activate when it gets close enough to an opponent. So if you kind of just like backdash, you'll beat it most of the times, unless you're like kind of like stuck in the corner and whatnot. A lot of people try to jump over it as well, so that's also an option. I guess I'll cover that more when I'm talking about counterplay. But yeah, that's pretty much that. U is literally the exact same thing, but this thing just hits twice, so it's easier to confirm. You won't really be using this a lot unless you want to, like, your opponent is pretty, like, spot dodge heavy when it comes to, like, blue flash reactions. And it does catch if you're at, like, a certain distance. So, yeah, it can mix up timing, but besides that, you're not really going to be using this move. It's very, like, niche uses. So, yeah, you probably won't be using it a lot. Okay. I think that covers specials. So, next, I guess we'll talk about game plan. So, Vikala is advertised as like a zoner, RNG BS Go zoner, with kind of like, you know, your traps, full screen 2-1-4. But the problem is she's not great at this at all. Literally like 80% of the cast can just like tell her no, and then she has to, you know, deal with whatever they have. So it's kind of yeah, this is like ideal positioning against certain characters like Ladiva that doesn't have anything like really threatening from full screen besides ult lariat, which can be hit out from items and 2-1-4 and whatnot. Obviously it's not great to rely on this always beating that out, because sometimes you'll lose and then you'll never get out of the corner and you'll lose the round because you can't DP against this character. We have bad defensive options and so yeah. But yeah, against some characters this is a really good position to be in. So yeah, Jam sent me here to learn the ways. Well, I hope I can help you out in that regard. I just finished talking about normals and specialists, so if you have any questions on that, just let me know. I'll go back over them. Right now I'm talking more about like game plan. But yeah, I was saying, this is kind of the position where she is supposedly supposed to excel in. But like I mentioned, however, unless it's certain characters like Ladiva that is on screen, she won't really be able to do much here for long, at the very least. And this is just due to the properties of these moves. Cannon having 50 frame, yeah, it takes 50 frames to come out, and so it's kind of, in terms of like, you have any character with a projectile, for an example, we'll just go back to Gran because Gran is there. But yeah, it should still be set. So if I do this, the items don't shoot immediately. You have to shoot them afterwards, like I mentioned before. With did I say it before? I don't know. But yeah, you have to shoot them out before with either U or skill. What you choose to do it with is up to you. But yeah, you aren't really getting anywhere with this because multi-hits just kind of destroy you. One thing I mentioned, or I didn't mention earlier actually, is that all 2-1-4s lose to multi-hits, even EX. So if you're trying to, you know, just you're throwing out 2-1-4 because, you know, they haven't done anything about it yet, and then boom, they throw out EX projectile. Depending on the time you throw it out, you're probably gonna lose, and you'll get hit, and then now you know, you're out of your prime position and probably in the corner because you're playing full screen, and yeah, now you're pushed back to the corner. So yeah, she can't really do much about that, which is why, although this position is supposedly really good for her against most of the cast that has either multi-hit projectile, or even like in most situations, most characters have a full screen, like they have a move that threatens you at full screen or just straight out beats any of your options when it comes to metered skills. So she can't really do this. Of course, like I said, against like certain characters she can, like Ladiva and then like Vira, for example, but those are like some of the few examples that do kind of like this works. But yeah, this is kind of, like I mentioned, it is still a good position for her in the sense that it is when your opponent doesn't have access to those like resources and whatnot. So if your opponent doesn't have, like, they use their cooldown on their EX projectile, it's a multi-hit. They don't have a multi-hit on their EX projectile, then yeah, that's cool as well. But yeah, it's a general rule of thumb, always, like, not even just in this, like, Vikala in particular, always pay attention to your opponent's meter, because full screen moves that are faster than you can react to exist in this game, and you cannot do anything about it except kind of prepare for it mentally. So yeah, always watch out when your opponent has 50 meter, especially as this character, because if you get caught by an ultimate projectile or an ultimate like full screen move, and you know, you're not going to be in your prime position anymore, and defense is rough with this character, so you kind of just gonna have to pray. So yeah, like I said, you can play in this position, but just be wary. So yeah, don't rely on it too much, but of course know the situation when you can do it and characters you can do it against. Yeah, someone tried to learn to call us and the video when it's posted. Oh, for sure, for sure. But yeah, that's kind of that position. And then let's get to the point where you just can't do this. There are certain characters that you literally cannot zone against people. Like, for example, probably the worst, one of her worst matchups, just due to not being able to do anything about it, is Matera. So she has two multi-hitting projectiles that she can rotate through, just cooldown and whatnot, and then two projectiles that she can change the speed of, so you'll never, you're not really beating these. And actually, I don't think I mentioned it specifically before, but so if you do like any normal projectile, these will trade with any normal projectile. So yeah, she can throw these out a lot faster than you can throw out 214. In the instance where you throw out cannons, these will probably lose, especially if you're doing it on reaction. Same time, it might trade, and even that, it just, you might not win. So yeah, this is a character we cannot really do this, because she has better, she's a better, let me reword this. She can contest full screen better than you can contest full screen, and there is nothing you can do about it. So, yeah. Probably the biggest thing is round start against these characters, where you can't really do anything about it. Obviously, you have to figure out character by character. Even I don't like know every option against Matera round start. It's kind of a gamble, as round start is for, you know, most of the time. But yeah, round start is important. But after that, and you're in the position where you are against this character full screen, like I said, do not commit to trying to zone, because you will not win, and you will be in the corner, and then you will die. So you don't want to do that. I would definitely focus on getting meter, and in hopes of trying to catch them out and trying to react to throwing out like a projectile and then hitting them with 214U or 236U, and then from there you can try to approach, because there really isn't much else you can do. I definitely don't recommend doing this and trying to set up shops. Set up shop. Yeah. General good starting options, like off a round start, is what you're asking? One of the better things is probably 4-5H. Because if they do anything, of course there are moves that can beat this, so you'll have to figure that out as you go. I don't know every move that beats this, but if they try to do anything, we'll probably extend their hurt box far enough to where they'll get smacked by 4-5H at round start. So just throwing out this move at round start to kind of see what they do is a good idea. If they're trying to play aggressive, they'll get smacked by it. If they try to throw out a projectile, they'll most likely get smacked. But if they back up, obviously that's like the only option that will really beat this. I'm not sure if it catches jumps, but yeah, this is probably one of the safer bets. If you're not trying to commit to that and you're too scared about what they're going to do on round start, because if you get knocked down, the game's kind of over, you can just, the safest thing is to just down back. Because some Matera players in particular, or characters with forward advancing 2Us, will try to do it at round start and try to catch you, doing something stupid. So there's something to watch out for. But of course that is player by player, kind of just trying to figure that out. But yeah, honestly, besides that, against certain characters, I like to round start. I like to round start cannon, because the hitbox for the cannon, it kind of just, it's a wall pretty much that spawns round start. So if they try to like 6XL or approach anything, or try to even press a button, there are some buttons that have hurt boxes big enough to where you'll get hit by this. So yeah, unless they throw out like EX projectile round start, you're not really gonna lose to this, or you're not really gonna yeah, you probably won't lose. There are some situations where you can't do this too much, because I didn't mention it earlier. I don't even think you were here earlier, but if you roll cannon, you are hella minus. So if they catch on to this and they roll cannon round start, you might die. So yeah, there is no like option that doesn't carry any risk, but these are probably the safer options when it comes to round start, that you can rotate through and then see what your opponent does. You of course you're gonna have to make guesses, but these are just probably some of the better guesses you can do off of round start. So yeah, something like that. But yeah, I think I talked about, approaching zoners is kind of, you can't really do much except for approach zoners how most characters do, and kind of just, try to slowly inch your way forward, old skills to beat out projectiles and whatnot. So yeah, I wish I had more advice in that regard, because I'm still trying to figure out how to deal with zoners myself, especially Matera. Matera is really bad to deal with as Vikala. So you can't really, there's no shortcut to it. Just, get good at navigating the bullet hell if you want to play this character. If you don't, then you pick up another character. Because yeah, this is rough, that's all I have to say. But yeah, guess more like game plan stuff. Blockstrings. I did mention this earlier, but like how you want to structure your pressure, you kind of want to stay at this distance and abuse the hell out of this move, because this move is even mid-screen, it has pretty decent pushback. So if they don't do anything and they don't try to approach, you can kind of just like inch them into the corner with this move, and it's also plus. So yeah, yeah, you're gonna be wanting to use this move a lot off of your far normals. So like in situations where you might be like this, I just do that. I mentioned before, but this is one of the few moves that are not punishable on roll. Well, at least under like certain situations, under certain circumstances and whatnot. So like if you're far enough and they roll, they can roll into it and it will lead into a counter hit. They can't spot dodge it because it will land on top of it and lead into a counter hit, and then you can get a full confirm. Of course, confirm will depend based on where you are on screen, but yeah, this move is really hard to deal with if you're outside the range where you can roll it. So yeah, you're gonna be using this a lot, and it's good because with it being safe and a lot of people defaulting to just rolling everything Vikala has, you can kind of like download their habits, and you know, if they do roll everything off of you just pressing whatever, then you can get an even bigger punish and, you know, beta roll and something like that, and then, you know, you can take more health off of them than you would otherwise. So yeah, this is definitely your go-to. Literally, when you're in the corner, I'd recommend just spamming the hell out of this move until they do something to get out, to try to get out of the corner, because most likely, more likely than not, they will get hit by this move. And then you can confirm into a full combo. So like that. So yeah, counterplays you should look out for. It depends character to character. Some characters like Fairy can, if they are close enough, show it. Like they are close enough on block, they can sweep. So characters with sweeps like that, this is something you have to look out for. Like, it doesn't reach if you're at like this distance, but like in this range, a lot of Fairy players would just preemptive do that. So in this situation, you kind of just have to, like, Fairy doesn't have a move that's fast enough to punish you at this range if you do not cancel into anything. So you can kind of like feel it out, like right here. Kind of just press a button and kind of sit there and see how they try to react to it. I don't know if Fairy players react to this with like literally react to the special coming out. They could. So that's one thing you need to look out for with this in the corner, at least. It's not okay. It like mid screen isn't too bad. Of course, like even with that. But yeah, this is something you definitely have to watch out for. Certain characters can do this. I'm not sure every character. I'm not sure like about which characters can, but characters with big 2Us like this. I was thinking maybe Nier can, but I'm not 100% sure. So, yeah, you kind of just need to see. No, yeah, I think it's too slow. Yeah. Too slow and not big enough. So, yeah. There's that. If you're far enough, certain characters have moves that will, like ult skills, that will just beat out certain things. Will beat out this in particular. I'm not sure, like, of course, it depends on spacing, because if you're far enough away, then they can get it out before it hits them and whatnot. So yeah, like that. So that's another thing to look out for. They have meter. People can also super through this, so you can't just do this. Like, you have to pay attention to what your opponent has before you just start spamming this. But yeah, this is still a very strong option. But yeah, of course, you have to know which characters can and cannot do it. So obviously that takes time and just like labbing and whatnot. Yeah, those are probably the biggest things to look out for: the sweeps, old skills, supers. I'm not sure. I probably have to set this to something else. Hold on. Yule for signs. What is Yule gonna do after this, man? Think about it yourself. What does Yule do for this? She can't do anything right here. She can't do anything right here. Like freaking 214 on the low probably gets caught, especially in the corner, because that will just linger and land on top. So yeah, Yule isn't doing much about this. I did mention before, but after a certain distance, you can like jump out of this. Yule might be one of the characters that can kind of just like air stall and mess up my like 2H timing. But yeah, it isn't like a guaranteed way to get out, but you know, depending on the character, they have different options to get out of this. You all might be able to. She might be able to. I think it might be caught. Yeah, so she can't do anything like that. so yeah, yeah, some people just have to hold that. Can you hit confirm the route roll? You can, but you won't get any combo off of it. This is not a combo tool, and unless it's counter hit, it doesn't even do anything. So yeah, you're better off if you can react and hit confirm. You're better off find you hit confirm 214, so you can get a full confirm. Even 623 is too slow, or 623H is too slow to combo as well. Off of every move, it doesn't matter if it's H or whatnot. So yeah, you'll just kind of be throwing this out. If they roll it and get counter hit, or they spot dodge and get counter hit, then you can do a full confirm. But besides that, you won't really be getting much off of it. If this did have reward on hit as well, this would like not counter hit would be kind of crazy. But yeah, that is your go-to when you're in pressure. But after that, you know, I guess mixing in your other specials do apply. If they just kind of like sit down, like they're like, I'm not gonna do anything about 623. I'm gonna just wait till you get out of range, so I can do something. Then obviously you can mix in cannon. I did mention before that cannon is pretty minus on roll, so don't get in the habit of doing this a lot, because you will get rolled, and then you like most characters will take you to the corner. So yeah, this goes for like, it's a lot safer when you're mid screen because of how far you are and how far this can push your opponent back. So it's a lot safer to do mid screen. And then, depending on what you get from your cannon, you can convert into a full combo. So, like something like that. So, if you do manage to hit them. But, yeah, that's... And yeah, you can mix in your other specials if your opponent likes to roll and stuff like that. And you're not close enough, or you're not far enough to the point where 623 will probably catch. You can get a counter hit off of this, and this is a full confirm in the corner. You won't really be using this 214M or 214H in Blockstrings. 214H in Blockstrings probably more likely, because if you're trying to like try to catch a hit confirm, like not reacting, you might be able to get like a full combo off of that. M you'll never use because when people are blocking, they're holding down back. So if this whiffs, you're minus 50, so you will die. So do not use this in Blockstrings. That's, yeah, definitely not something you want to use. You can also reset with Trap, but Trap takes a decent amount of time to go out. Not a lot of people mash when it comes to like on pressure and whatnot. So yeah. Oh, what's up, DOT? Everyone follow, I appreciate it. Yeah, not a lot of people will mash off of your pressure. They'll just roll instead. So this, or they'll hold back. It it depends, but not a lot of people are pressing a button. Fosterwater cameo, real. But yeah, not a lot of people are pressing a button, but on roll, you're pretty safe. So this is something you can throw out if your opponent is roll heavy. Off of off of 2-2H, actually, roll is minus. So if they roll right in front of your face, you can just throw them into true punish. So I haven't got this a lot because I tend not to use I tend not to use 2-2H a lot in like pressure. So yeah, but this is an option if your opponent likes to roll, and you get like something like this. So you can. So it's just a matter of mixing your pressure and, you know, figuring out your opponent's habits, their defensive habits on this character, because a lot of people, like I said, like to roll because the reward on rolling right is really, really high. So if you can figure out where people want to roll, you can get a lot bigger punishes and whatnot. But yeah, definitely use 623L a lot. Figure out what they like to like to roll, when they like to roll, or just how they like to like counterplay or run their counterplay against it. And then you know, watch out for meter, and you know, of course, you're gonna have to figure out what certain characters can do about this. Some characters literally cannot do anything; they just have to pray. Like I think like Ladiva can super through it. I think Vossaraga can't do anything about it. So that's one. Yule, as you just saw, can't do anything about it. No, some characters like Beatrix can get freaking 2-2 under it. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Your character's cooked. Yeah, there are some characters that can't do anything about it. There are some characters that have a lot of options against it. So it is something that you have to keep in mind and lab. So yeah, on defense, we talked about offense for a while. Defense, defense is rough. Defense is very rough. You don't really have a lot of options. This is your fastest poke. It's not like big as some characters. Yule has a forward advancing 4M, so that, you know, works in her favor. But yeah, this move is, like previously mentioned, is -8 on block. So if you try to do this and you do not hit confirm, or not hit confirm, if you don't special cancel in anything, you might blow up. But of course, you know, a lot of people will roll off of you can hit on block, but probably not in this situation because, you know, they're not, you're on the defensive, they're not. So yeah, something to look out for. And then also, again, your special cancels in this situation are kind of limited. You can 2-1-4, but then you lose your turn. You can 6-2-3. This is probably the best case scenario where you get like this and then they block 6-2-3. So you get more space and then you're less like minus. They can roll it, of course, and you know, it's like you're back in the exact same position. Far L, despite it being 1 frame faster than Far M, is hella small, so you're not really doing anything with this. So you're probably better off using Far M in most situations. Of course, there are certain situations against, like, you know, moves that are like 7 frames where you want to use your 6 framer and whatnot. So it is situation to situation. It depends. Sorry, just taking water. 2M is probably a button you never want to use. You never want to use on when you're in the corner, because yeah, special cancel doesn't work. Oh, yeah. So thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. Hope your stream was well. 2M 623 H is you're godlike. You're godlike until they roll it, and then you're freaking minus like 14 and you die. So but yeah, welcome Raiders. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Definitely, I hope you had a good stream. Appreciate the raid. I was told you're working on a guide, indeed. We're just talking about, I'm kind of just going over, you know, basic Vikala, like, game plan, like, moves. Right now, I talked about her, like, offensive, like, structure and whatnot, and what you should be doing. Now we're kind of going over, like, defense. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about this character, I have talked about a lot. If you have any questions about, like, anything in particular, feel free to ask, and, yeah, I will try my best to answer. Gotta be fast. Yeah, defense. I was just talking about far M. Far M, like, it's fast, but you know, you don't really get much off of it. You get a hit confirm. Might be able to like do one of these. 6-framer Lamau, yeah, pretty much. Can't really do anything about it. She's just, you know. She just kind of, I don't know. It's like, I'd rather do my 7-framer just because it's bigger. But of course, like, I mentioned this before you graded, but there are a certain situation where you're going to have to use your 6-framer against 7-framers. But Amigo, also thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, okay, what was I on about before? Oh yeah, 2M. 2M, you do not use this move. try your best not to use this move on defense. Like, you can do this and catch people off guard, but rule of thumb is if you block Vikala 2M, you're probably just, you should roll it. Because in this situation, especially when you're not, like, in the corner against Vikala, if you're pressuring a Vikala and she does 2M into 623, you roll it, she dies. If you roll it and for some reason she does 214, then we just did the better guess at that point. Because if you block 214 from right here, I die because I'm -8. So, yeah, you can either roll or, you know, the even riskier option is to, you know, set up trap, which will lose the mash. So it depends. Obviously, it's not great. This is a very risky option. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend, especially since it's not a low. So if this was forward advancing and a low, this would be kind of crazy. But yeah, we don't have that luxury. So yeah, despite it being 8 frames forward advancing, it's not great because it's, yeah, you will probably die for throwing this out. And if it misses too, you're equally as cooked, because on a whiff this is a lot more punishable. Yeah, you're -32 on whiff. So yeah, Pedro, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. So yeah, this is that's that. And Nixus, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. You guys are enjoying your stay. Yeah, probably the better option to do in these situations, especially when your opponent likes to shimmy, is probably to just 2U. 2U is low, is a low. It's also 8 frames, so it's decently fast, and it also has deceptively long reach. So you can kind of, you just like 2U, and depending on spacing, you use super jump, and now you have the corner. So of course, you know, this is 2U SSBA. You're nice, Callisto. Yeah, this is definitely the, I wouldn't say the go-to, but if your opponent is very shimmy heavy, then definitely try to throw out this move a couple of times. But you know, besides that, you don't really have too many options on defense. One thing that you can do, which I did mention a bit earlier, is special cancel into 236U, which resets full screen, which is probably the best thing you can do. But the only problem about this is you can roll, or you can't roll 236U. But you can spot dodge everything that's not heavy, which is basically only far H. And if you spot dodge this move, you are minus 14. So you will most likely die. It's like 2M, spot dodge, and then they'll probably just far H you, and then you die. So yeah, the spacing, the situations where you would be able to do this is very limited. Only with that is like confirmed. You know, I did try this a lot, and people would just sit and eat it, but of course, at the time, they probably didn't know that you can spot dodge everything but the heavy. So, yeah. If you can hit one of these, if you have 50 meter and you can hit a freaking far H, you can even get them to block a far 5H. Get this out and just send them away, because, yeah, it's probably your safest option to get out of the corner. You can get 50 meter back, but you will not get your life back. So... you know, that's probably a go-to. What do you get if they try to spot to the heady? They literally cannot. So it locks. So I set Yuo to spot dodge immediately when she gets the chance to. And as you can see, she can't spot dodge until after the ball takes her full screen. So yeah. Counterplay to this, actually, people can just BC this. So, oh wait, hold on. So, yeah, they can BC this. So, I think it depends on hit. Yeah, right there, and you're still minus. So, -6. Not a lot of people have -6 that, like, can cover that far. How do you beat Vikala? I'm very new and very lost. Play Lucilius. Yeah, exactly. There's no solution. BC got you. BC got you. But yeah, it is your best option. Is Belial also okay? Belial is also okay, but I'd say Lucilius is probably better. But that is also, honestly, you could pick like half the cast and you'll be fine. Let's see. Let me just figure out who not to pick. Who not to pick? Let's see. Vira. Vikala, Nier. Yeah, that's about it. Just don't pick Vikala, Nier, or Vira. Everybody else, you got it. You'll be alright. Picking Grand, see? Safe option. There you go. Rated first, Vikala versus Vikala is a losing matchup. Yeah, it's also probably the most annoying matchup in the game. So yeah, don't do it. It's not worth the time and your sanity. So yeah, honestly, that's probably like it for her defense and stuff like that. She can't really, like I said, she doesn't have much. She's really reliant on 236U to get out of the corner, but like I just showed, it's punishable on spot dodge on literally anything that isn't this, which you won't be getting a lot. There are some characters that can play in this space, but it's just like, yeah, honestly, this is probably the best space to be against her. If you can play outside of her far 5H range, you win. Or if you can play like right here, like Lucilius can play right here. This is why this matchup sucks. Well, it's one of like the 50 reasons why this matchup sucks. But yeah, if you can play right here and outrange this, there's nothing she can do about this except for probably catch you, you know, trying to, you know, reset something, maybe like spot dodge cancel normal and stuff like that. So you can't do anything right here. You can try to throw this out like raw and hope it works. That is something I've tried to do a couple times. I've died for it a lot, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, yeah, defense. That's kind of how that works. Talk about offense. What else? Oh no. I guess we'll leave this open to Q&A if anybody has any questions, because I'm not sure what else I need to talk about. So I think I've been talking for a friggin' hour 40. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, like maybe like character specifics. What's my social security number? I don't know, man. I don't have that off the top of my head. Pros and cons of using different trap versions. Vikala social, you're gonna have to ask her, bro. I don't know. Okay, different trap versions. LM over H. L, honestly, you won't be using L a lot. L is very, like... like, there really is no reason to use L, honestly. M is good because you can set up, like... You can set up, like, situations where you can have, like, trap behind them, so you can set up into, you can set up into, you know, like, overhead setup and whatnot. And then that's plus. L, you're more neutral. Honestly, this is like, it's very like situation dependent, obviously. If they have meter, you're probably never gonna want to throw this out in neutral, like trap of any version, because they can just react and press a button, and then most characters will kill you for it. One situation where you can use it, like M-trap in particular, is this. I've seen this a lot, like Taco, Hinoki, when I watch their streams. They can set up like star right here, and then while it's in block stun, you can kind of just like step that up right there. So in situations where you have your opponent in like block stun, like with items and whatnot, you can kind of set this up behind and then, you know, go from there. It's cute, yeah. I like it. I haven't had a lot of situations where I could utilize it, but it is, you can set up behind and then you can do that. But yeah, in that situation, depending like on how far you are, you can set up this like and kind of like, you know, force your way in a bit more. But yeah, it's mainly in situations where you have like you know, you can get like a hit off of an item and they can't really do anything about it. I use this move a lot when I have, like, when I know they can't contest it, and kind of just, like, you know, run forward, see how they react to it. Because a lot of people just don't respect trap at all, which is understandable, because you can literally just run through it. Most characters can actually just 6XL through it, and it doesn't, like, yeah. So, RNG hates me and never gives me a star. Well, then, you know, it depends. It depends on the matchup. Like, characters like Vira and, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Like Vira, Ladiva, and stuff like that, you can kind of just, like, set this up and kind of just play like this, because they're going to have to, they have no way to kind of, they can't hit you from full screen, so you kind of just play like this, get them to, like, you know, throw out an item on screen, and then you can kind of set this up. What you do between L and M trap, it depends on, you know, their, like, distance. I'd preferably, like, try to place trap away from cannon, so you can kind of like get items out without the chance of them pressing a button trying to clear a trap and you being right there. Seen so many people try to destroy a trap with 2L. Yeah, it doesn't work. There are some moves that literally kill trap, like freaking Uno 623 destroys trap. So if they see it, they'll just do 623 and it beats it. Why? I have no clue. But yeah, it's great. There's a lot of moves like that actually. I'm not sure like which ones in particular, but there's a lot of moves that actually beat trap. But 2L, like normals are not one of them. It's specials. So yeah, but yeah, it depends on character in terms of like trap. So you know, if it's character you want to approach, obviously do H trap. But if it's a character you can kind of just sit back and force them to approach you while you just kind of play like this, then I would say throughout L and M trap. So like I said, I'd rather use M trap to, you know, force them to like try to clear it further away from me, so I have the chance to throw out some other BS. But yeah, obviously be wary of doing, you know, placing one of these and they're super jumping while you're placing it and then you get caught. So it's kind of that. But yeah, I guess like I said, depends on character. If it's a character like Lucilius, you're not going to be able to do anything at any time. So, you're not really ever going to be able to use Trap in neutral against some characters. Like Lucilius, freaking Bubs. To be, it depends. Setups yet? No, not really. Honestly, there isn't a lot of setups. Like I mentioned, there is the, there's this one. Safe jab, trap setups. She doesn't really have like any like safe jab. There is a setup in the corner off of a throw and whatnot. But mid screen, you're really just gonna be doing this. Back throw, forward throw, doesn't matter. You're gonna be doing this. People can like act out of it. Like Zoe can 6H on wake up and it will beat it. So that is something that you need to watch out for. Does have stage jazz in the corner? Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's not, I figured out, or I've seen better options like this. Yeah, so I've been doing this a lot. You're -2, but if they do anything but like grab, they'll get hit by the item that's coming down. And certain items, if they get caught like by grab, it's a full combo in the corner. Certain characters can, like, it doesn't work on just due to how, I'm not exactly sure. It might be like how her or not, it's something about her throw. It's weird, but like off of like, you can't loop 2 throws off of like Belial, Eustace, stuff like that, because how Star works. But off of certain like setups and stuff like that, you can. So something like that, and you throw. If I can get this, my 6XL timing is terrible. Yeah, it's something like that. That's what I do in the corner now, at the very least. So that does work. Of course, you're not immune to grab yourself, but you're not minus enough in this situation to be punished. So if you're not reacting, or they don't know the setup, then you can get a full combo in the corner. It works with bomb too. If they get counter hit and they're crouching in the corner, then you get a full confirm. So that's probably the best corner setup I've seen. So thank Hinoki for that one. But yeah, mid screen there isn't too much. You have like I said, you have this, which you won't really be doing a lot when you're close to the corner, just due to the fact that you know you can get a full confirm and then set up better Oki with 633M. after like a hard knockdown with 214U, because by that time you'll probably have meter, because you get meter hella fast in this game. So stuff like that. There is one thing I've seen Hinoki do. I guess it's character dependent on like their DPs, but he did something like what was it? He'll like 2U, like he would be in the position to 2U and then do this and then super jump over. So the only problem I saw with this, I haven't like tested much myself, but I've seen him get beat out by like Zoe, like UDP, because obviously this doesn't lock them out of DP in this situation, and can also be hit out of on wake up, so trap doesn't really like enforce much if you know what it is, like if you know what's happening, obviously. So yeah, besides that, honestly, if there is any other setups I'm unaware of, those are the setups that I use personally. So yeah, there is like, if you do setup like off of this, like if you press early enough, you can safe jab. Well, I don't even know if it's like an actual safe jab, like HDPs, not UDPs. So yeah, so you can catch DP right there and then full confirm. Trap never hits meaty, yeah. The thing is, like, with that is, like, it doesn't only lose to lows, it loses to freaking, like, mids, like 5-0. You can 5-0 and wake up and still be trapped. So I'm like, it doesn't even have, like, the CAG factor where if you have to clear it with the low. So I'm like, okay. You can literally press 5-0 and wake up and you'll win, so. It's cool. Yeah, that's what I have for like setups and whatnot. That's what I've been using. So like I'll do this like mid screen, stuff like that. Try to get one of these. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, that little like star thing, you can set up that when they're like whatever. You can, I forget what it's off of. Like something like that, but it's like you're minus, but you know, usually your opponent shouldn't be mashing on wake up, so you can try to set up that. Like it's really close to them if you do it off of like just normal throw, so it's like by the time you run up and you can kind of like contest that, you like they're probably like out of there. So isn't much from that. From this though, I literally just like kind of just do this, or you can run up a little bit and try to set up like M trap. So yeah, it depends. It depends. No, I was gonna talk about counterplay, but I feel like I think I was gonna dedicate a session to counterplay, but I think I've talked about most of it. It's like you can roll most of her moves. Hello minus. Literally, like if you have any multi hits, throw it when she's doing something. If you have any full screen old skills, catch her doing anything other than like 2-1-4, because 2-1-4 is hard to react to. A trap mix-up versus a cannon ender. This is honestly character dependent for me personally. So like if the character doesn't have a meterless DB, I'll definitely do the trap ender a lot, because I don't have to worry about them DPing on wake up. Obviously there's not a lot of characters with that, and then characters have DPs when they get meter. But yeah, I'll oftentimes, like if it's like Zoe or something like that, I'll set up this. And it's also like, it's also spacing dependent, because I'll do like right here, you kind of, you want to get out of the corner, right? So like right here, you're still risking because the reward, you're not guaranteed anything right here. People can mash out of this. You can guess wrong and you can be right back in the corner. So there'd be certain times where it's like, depending on my like positioning in my life, I'll just cannon to get more space. And if I get an item that I can confirm, then I send one of those, and then yeah. So I'm more out of the corner. I get further away from the corner, so I can push that. One thing I did find out though, because literally, if you watch Hinoki's stream enough, you'll find out new tag. That guy is a labber. I have nothing but respect for him. So if you do catch them crouching from one of these, from an auto combo, you can actually cross under. So you can actually side switch off of that, which is pretty neat. So yeah, it's pretty nice, but you know, it's not a lot of the time where you're gonna be able to get your opponent crouching in an auto combo. And you can side switch like that. He was able to confirm off of it, but I honestly don't know how. I think he did some sort of like 5U cancel, but I don't know how to do it myself, and I do not speak enough Japanese to be able to ask him. So yeah, because if you try to you should try to cancel off of this, she'll just go in the way she's facing, but he figured out a way to kind of like cancel it. I think like because this 5U changes direction, it will automatically face her opponent when they switch sides. Was able to do some sort of cancel into like a 2-1-4 or something. So if you can't figure that out, then you can get like a full conversion off of that. But yeah, that is something if you can get your opponent crouching. But it's of course not the easiest to do. It is nice to have in the back pocket though. The timing for this isn't like the easiest either. So okay, that was weird. But yeah. Yeah, like you see if you do it like too early, then they'll stay on that side. You have to do it pretty, like, it isn't that tight, but at the same time it's not like easy. So yeah, there's that. Also the throw kind of confirm that or not confirm, the throw setup I showed earlier can be done if I can get this combo once. If I can get this combo once, maybe it's easier if I do it from here. Okay, yeah, I'm just garbage. You do this. Yeah, something like that. So that is a setup that works on everybody. In this situation, like off a throw, it doesn't work on the characters I mentioned before. But off of that setup where you do 5L into close M, and then you throw item up like this, Star works on everybody. This only applies to Star and Bomb. Bomb is easier to confirm. Actually, it depends. It's like tighter in the sense if you want to get like the max damage and like 5H. I've messed this up like once or twice. Like something like that. So yeah, it's something to have in the back pocket. That's cool because you can't get lucky and then, you know, roll bomb and then yeah, both the Star and the Bomb do the same damage off of the same like routing, so that works too. But yeah, that's, I don't know. Do you have any other questions for, how do you reroute if Star Bomb doesn't come out? Well, you don't get a throw combo if Star Bomb doesn't come out. So it depends on like if they block or not. So you'll kind of just reset, same situation if you get a grab and it's not bomb or star. So like this, you'll kind of just play it like cheese too. You're minus, but you know you don't get anything off of that because it doesn't hit anything. So yeah, you kind of just like roll this, and then maybe they press or something like that, and then you get a combo. So like, I'll like try to like 2L. Yeah, and then you can confirm. Yeah, something like that. Your favorite rat? It might be the one on the far left. Low-key, I forget what which animation it is, but they're all great though. But yeah. So yeah, the only thing you'll get a combo off of is if bomb or star comes out. So those are only off the throw too. There's also like, because star acts, or not acts differently, star bounces off of people. So if you do like have like a combo, or you comboed and you like have like that, the star will bounce off and go into the cannon. So routing is different there as well. So that's, so yeah, you're gonna have to change your route a little bit. I haven't tried it out myself, but that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, one thing I also didn't talk about is like, I guess, confirms off of cannon. So you get star. Basically, if you get star, cannonball, spike, or bomb, you can confirm from this into a 214U to get a hard knockdown. Kind of set up something like this, whatnot. There are certain situations where you can like confirm not that, like off of these as well. So which one, this depends on like the confirm. Like you get like a, like you can do it off of a far medium for EX, but off of like normal M and L, you're not going to get anything because it doesn't confirm. Yeah, most situations, it depends. Like I said, it is like situational in terms of like character and like spacing. So like if you're closer to the corner, it's better to not risk it and do one of these, and you need to like full confirm right here. But if you're like full screen and need space, there's a chance it will come out, and then you can set up from there. So yeah, that's that. It's not like that hard to kind of keep track of, because you'll know which can combo into certain things and which can't. Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna talk much about like combo structure, because I have like a video about, or not a video, I have like a playlist of like combos I've done on my YouTube channel. So there's a bunch of like stuff there. But yeah, it's kind of that. And then in the corner as well, your combo routings can like change depending on what item you get. So like something like that, you get more damage off of getting cannonball out. You can react to it. That's what, like, Vikala rewards like having decent reactions to be able to, like, you know, see which items you do get out, and being able to, because you're not going to get an item to extend your combo every single time, but like one of those, you don't get much in the corner from one of those. The most you can get is a far L or close L if you're close enough. So being able to react and not throw it out is helpful. So like you get one of these, and then you can extend your combo, you shoot it out, it does more damage, whatnot. So yeah, that's definitely something to work on if you are planning to play this character, is being able to like react to stuff like that and not like ruin your combo, because you throwing out like that and getting like a heart or something like that could be the determining factor if you like drop your combo and lose a round and stuff like that. So it's, you know, the safest option is to literally not like try to react to it and not shoot out an item instead, but it can be very rewarding if you can react to stuff like that, because the difference in damage is a lot, especially with if you get Star. Star is a very like specific combo. Something like that, but you get a lot more damage. So yeah, it's like a difference in like maybe like I don't know the difference exactly. It might be like 1,000. Yeah, something well, a couple hundred, but not 1,000. Yeah, it's like a difference in like 500 damage. So it's like, it's not like a significant increase, but it can be the extra 500 you may need to end off a game. So yeah, that's something to work on for sure. But yeah, learning those combos are pretty like, except for like bomb and star, like spike ball and cannonball have the same routing for like cash out, and then reset is kind of like that. So that was great because it just gave me those two back to back. So yeah, it's literally just something like that. Like I said, I did in the playlist that I have uploaded shows like a different routing and whatnot for those things that require different routing. But if you can get those down, like I mentioned like 100 times, they will be helpful for you in the long run. So yeah, trying to think anything else that I not cover. Need the lab though. Yeah, it's just reactions, honestly. You don't have a lot of time to react. It's literally in between the time the bubble comes up and it disappears. I think I heard something was like 25 frames. 24, 25 frames. So If you can't, then you know there's no shame in just like not shooting out anything, because shooting out nothing is better than shooting out something that ruins your combo and then you lose the game for it. You know. So it's better to be safe than sorry, as people say. You know. So yeah. The thing. Yeah, honestly, that's like that pretty much sums it up. If you have any like other like questions, of course, feel free to ask. But definitely other resources to look at is probably on YouTube. Taco and Hinoki stream a lot of their sessions. So if you need like, I literally watch those streams every time they stream. So basically, I'm watching that like every night just to see if they find out some new tech that I can borrow. You know. So, and a lot of the time there is, because I learned most of this stuff from them. So, like this was all from Hinoki. So, yeah. He does a lot of he's in the lab a lot more than I could be without going insane. He's like checking and like figuring out situations for like every freaking move. Like I saw him, I think with the star. I'm not sure if I can replicate it off of memory, but yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, something like that. I'm like, who thought of using 66H in that situation? It definitely would not have been me. So, yeah, I'm not even sure how this compares in damage-wise. 6750. So I do. Whatever that one was. Yeah, so it does do more damage. There you go. I think I could probably get a. Actually, I'm not sure. Wait, this one probably does more damage though. Yeah, 6950. But yeah. This one is nice though. It gives it some sauce. So yeah. There's a lot of stuff to learn from watching the Japanese players, honestly. Because there are so much, there are so many more people in Japan, or just even in that like Eastern Asian region, that play this character more than NA. Like, it was looking good when Havlin played this character for a week, but after that week was over, he never touched this character again. So that. It was promising until it wasn't. And then after that, you know, there were some like people who played the character. Like Candace Fry was on the character for a bit. Jam was on the character for a bit. MBK. I'm not sure if MBK is still playing. But yeah, there was a lot of really solid players on this character for a good chunk of time, and then yeah, they're just like, it's not worth it anymore. JP players stream on YouTube? Yeah, most of the players stream on YouTube. I can send the links because their channels are in Japanese, so it's their channel names are in Japanese, so it's like hard to look them up unless you know how to read, speak, type. But yeah, the two main ones, the two best, in my opinion, are Hinoki and Taco. Hinoki is the lab monster. Taco is just, he's just good. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure those are the top two right now for Vikala. Yeah, and then there's me. And then there's me, I guess. Yeah. 1500, 1400, and then I'm there. Yeah, there's Tacos. Let me find Hinoki's. And both are former near players, so. GM grind mode has been tough. Yeah, you're not winning with this character a lot. It's not easy to win with this character, so it's like, yeah. You can try. You can certainly try, but it's not gonna be easy at all. But yeah, the first one is Taco, the second one's Hinoki. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I don't know, what else? What else is there to talk about? I'm not sure. I think I covered I'm not sure. Hopefully I covered everything is all I have to say. But yeah, if you need any combos and stuff like that, of course, watching replays is fine. Then there's always that playlist. Main takeaways, honestly, we go back into training room. The biggest thing is knowing how to play against each character, because like I mentioned, her game plan will change depending on what character you play against, because she simply cannot run her game plan against certain characters. I think that across all matchups, of course matchup knowledge is important in general, because if you don't know what a character does, you're not going to be able to know how to play against it. But it's extremely important in this case because this is like, I personally think she has like no winning matchups. She has like one slight, which I believe is probably Vira, but it's closer to even than it is winning, honestly. But you know, just to give her the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, matchups are really important. Yeah, like certain characters, like just to like look at this, like characters that you're gonna be able to zone is Vira with Diva, and then most Shotos when they don't have meter, or not even don't have you. It depends on, you know, situation and whatnot. Do they have their EX cooldown? Do they have 50 meter? Maybe Vasaraga. But yeah, once like half the cast gets 50 meter, or like 80% of the cast gets 50 meter, you can't do anything. Or not that you can't do anything, you have to be very, very like careful on how you like place your zoning tools. the TLDR on beating Vira, literally get space, get space, and he can't really do anything, honestly. Because her, like, round start, I guess round start, it depends. You can't just throw this out for free because a lot of Viras like to jump. But yeah, once you get space, honestly, try to keep her away as much as possible. Like, when I said, like, you'll, depending on, like, characters and, like, matchups and stuff like that, and positioning, you're going to want to use, like, cannon or things to get characters away from you more often than not. So this is definitely one of the characters where you want to, because when she is in this position, she can't really do anything, especially outside of install, because she doesn't have full screen 2-1-4, and 2-1-4, even if you're close enough, is also punishable on block. So if they do it, like, if they do a bad one, you can punish it with your 6-frame, you know, RL. So yeah, she has no reliable options to approach. And even this used to be full screen tracking, doesn't full screen track anymore. This is probably her best option, but even this, you can kind of, you might be able to, like, hit her out of it if you know, you just throw items on the screen and then you catch her while she's doing it in neutral. So literally, this character, just keep her away from you and slowly push her into the corner. Obviously, you don't want to give up too much space because then you'll be in the corner, but just, you know, keep enough space to where she can't do anything and then push her into the corner, whatnot. It's kind of, the same goes for, like, Ladiva and whatnot, but she is a lot scarier when she gets 50 meter, because if you get ult lariated, you probably lost the game. So yeah, because you cannot DP headbutt, don't have a lot of great options to get out of the corner and whatnot, so it's it's rough. So yeah, same thing applies. Watch out for meter. But yeah, every other character, same thing. Watch out for meter, but there's just a lot of things, like zoners you're probably going to struggle against is Matera, Eustace, Avatar Belial. Avatar Belial is really just, do you know how to fight Avatar Belial? And then just don't 2-1-4. You can't really 2-1-4 in this matchup. Actually, you can't zone in this matchup at all, because his I believe it's 236M is like the 5 like spikes, and it beats it and then also hits you. Avatar's dependent. Yeah, you kind of just wait until they kill themselves. That's what I try to do. Tips against Versusia, I think she gives me the most consistent trouble at the moment. Biggest thing against Versusia is that she can zone you, but once she gets rid of her pillar cooldown, she has no full screen threat. And a lot of Versusia players like to spend EX pillar. But yeah, after she uses this, all her moves, she has like this, doesn't reach full screen. This doesn't reach full screen. This one is scary because it's, you know, it's like unreactable pretty much. But yeah, basically wait until they spend pillar, because they will spend their pillar cooldown. And then you can, this is like the one zoner you can quote unquote zone, because after she spends pillar, she has to navigate through this. Because she's so big, it's hard for her to get around this, place around like trap and stuff like that. But yeah, obviously you don't want to give her too much space. It's kind of inevitable that she gets 5U, so you're kind of gonna have to like play around that, because we don't have any good tools to really approach her. She has massive buttons, and yeah. But I'd say biggest thing is wait for them to spend pillar cooldown, and then after they do that, they can kind of run their game, because they can't do anything full screen after they spend pillar except approach you. And then that's what you want characters that are big and slow to do, which is approach you and run into your BS, so then you can knock them down and run your game. So that's kind of that is how you play against this character, I believe. That's what I try to do. Obviously you're gonna have to approach this character eventually, but it makes it easier when they don't have pillar. Of course, watch her meter. You're gonna have to like spot dodge her ult pillar, which is also full screen tracking. This also doesn't go full screen, so you don't have to worry about like reacting when you are full screen. But when you're close, do not. This is just a general thing for her. I'd say just sit back and let her throw out whatever move, block it, because if you guess wrong on this, it will hurt. And playing against this character, like on defense, is not cool. A lot more not cool than some characters. So yeah, that's what I have to say against this big woman. Yeah. Like I said, a lot of it is just with this character is learning matchups. Some characters you don't have to learn matchups, but you know, this character you need to know every single matchup in the game, or else you will get cooked. So yeah. Yep. But yeah, I guess for main takeaways, like I said, learn matchups. Figure out what you can do against certain characters, what you can't do against certain characters, how you have to play against certain characters. Because there are some characters that you literally just have to get lucky. Like Lucilius, you can't do anything against this character. You literally just have to win. Like, you have to bank on winning multiple interactions in order to win the game. Because this character has everything that I can just, like, we can't deal with. We zone this character. He throws out this. Or he teleports. One of the two. So if you do any of your high recovery like specials like this, if he teleports in front of you, you die. If he throws out projectile and you throw out one of these, you die because projectiles beat out everything. We can't approach him because he has this move, he has this move, he has this move, and he has this. So yeah, approaching him sucks. Oh yeah, he also has this, or this one, my bad. So you can't approach him, you can't zone him. And then even if you hold down back, if you just kind of sit here and wait for him to throw out BS, he just kind of sits here and then does this. And you know what happens when he gets Blade level 5, is all I have to say. So, IMO, this is probably her worst matchup. Because you can't do anything, and trying to let him not level up sometimes does more harm than good, even though he kind of just gets it for free. So yeah. Only thing we have going for us is that in this matchup on Roundstart, he, if he tries to do this, if we throw out Power 5H at the same time, it will win. So a lot of Lucilius players like doing this Roundstart because honestly, there isn't a lot of moves that beat this Roundstart. So having this Roundstart just to like throw it out and kind of like checking them with it. Unless, you know, they know you're going to do it, which they probably don't know that this move beats their, like, uncontestable Roundstart button. The freaking 13 frame Roundstart. So, yeah. It's definitely good to show. But, yeah, that's literally the only thing we have going for us in this matchup. Just kind of play around cooldowns. Whatnot. Yeah. Yep. Any other questions? 'Cause if not, I think I'll chill. I'll chill for a little bit. Excuse me. Thank you for follow. I appreciate it. Still a funny name. But yeah, yeah, that's pretty much the guide. I don't know if I'm gonna like how much I'm gonna edit this out, because I feel like this might be like, if I edit out some stuff, it might be like, I don't know, I might cut out some useful stuff for some people, so I might just upload the VOD as it is to YouTube or whatnot. But yeah, maybe some cuts here and there, but I think that should be it. Okay. Alright, yeah, I think I'll just... And for the knowledge, yeah, of course, of course. If you have any more questions, feel free to let me know. You know, maybe like, you know, Discord, Twitter, stuff like that. I'm willing to answer whatever. You know, we need more rats that are not on, like, Asia. So, yeah. Alright, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Brick is streaming intermediate wall brawl 2v2, so I'm gonna send you guys over there for some goofy tournament stuff. I'm processing limit testing needed, but I will be back with question later. Oh yeah. For sure. Just let me know. Yeah, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you guys for coming by, because, you know, I thought it would be more helpful to people if I were to stream this instead of just making a video to answer like immediate questions and whatnot. But yeah, again, appreciate you guys for sticking around. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and enjoy Brick's stream. If it will let me raid. It's not letting me raid. What the hell? Oh, I need 4 more seconds, 3 more seconds. Man, Twitch sucks. General Granblue questions and Vikala. Yeah, that's fine. Any type of help, I'm willing. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys around. Alright, peace.